All right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 113 of my Gateway Experience. Thank you so much for tuning in. The purpose of these videos is to document our journey through the Monroe Institute's Gateway Experience. I like to call the Gateway Experience a scientific, repeatable process of self-discovery, self-exploration, and ultimately self-mastery or self-actualization. It consists of a total of 36 tapes divided into 6 waves. We're currently on the third wave called Freedom, and we are on the first tape of that wave called Lift Off. Today was the 10th day doing this tape. So if you haven't seen any of my other videos, go ahead and check those out. That way you can see the entire journey so far. So let's get straight into it. Right now it is 6:29 a.m. almost 6:30. Call it 6:30. It's December 15th, 2022, and today is a Thursday. It's a Thor's Day. And I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning. Okay. No big deal. It's just what I do now. I say that, but then I just have to do it again tomorrow. So that's what we do. Yeah, so let's see here. Today was the 10th day. And what can I say? What can I tell you guys about this? So basically, you guys already know it's going to be a recap, and it's going to be what we usually do. So just going to start from the very, very beginning here. Okay, so at the very, very beginning, we started really with our energy conversion box. And really at the very beginning, I got some glimpses of the energy conversion box because the very first tape that I ever did was the HemiSync tape on the Bob Monroe Institute's website. It's a free tape. It's 30 minutes. It's a lady reading to you. So it's not Bob, but she's got it. She's got it. She's got everything that she needs there, and she hits all the points that we need to go over at least at the beginning, where I started to just practice this tape over and over and over again because it was making me more aware of my thoughts, my body, okay, so my thoughts, my feelings, and then also my relationships, okay, so that's basically my actions is the third one. So my thoughts, my feelings, and my relationships. And I mean like my actions basically, because my actions is what dictates my relationships and how those work out. So that's what I was able to see at the very beginning. And so yeah, it was thoughts, feelings, and actions. Okay, it was the energy conversion box. And I became more aware, okay? And becoming aware is really like the most important thing that you can do. I was becoming aware of how I felt towards other people and all these other things, okay? But really, that's there at the very, very beginning. The very beginning is really starting out with what am I thinking about? Okay, because my thoughts are really driving my feelings. A lot of the times we might have a thought that is just completely erroneous. We need to just take it out completely and throw it away. And sometimes we need to reinforce certain thoughts that maybe are more positive in our lives. Okay, so that's the very beginning. But then it moves into a little bit of it's the box. What I mean is the very beginning is our thoughts. We put our thoughts into this energy conversion box so that we can convert the energy into whatever we want, really. But then we go into the resonant tuning, which has to do with our breath, okay? The breath is oftentimes known as the spirit, okay? To inspire, spirere, spirare, I believe is what it is in Latin. I might be wrong about that, but it's to the breath, okay? The spirit is the breath. The breath is the spirit. Your breath, how you breathe, dictates what your spirit will be, okay? So when we start to focus on our breath, we start to focus on our spirit, okay? And as we focus on our breath, we breathe in, we breathe out, we become present in the moment. But not only that, but we also start to resonate. We start to resonate with our throat here, with our chakra there, and we just do a humming noise, and that allows us to raise our frequency, raise our vibration. We're no longer associated or identified. See, this is the thing about us people, is that the powerful thing about advertising, the powerful thing about movies, the powerful thing about storytelling is that we put ourselves in the shoes of so many things with our visual cortex, but also with our thoughts. We put ourselves in the shoes of our thoughts. How interesting is that? But they're not us. Okay? It's like we identify with them. We have to start to realize, hey, we can actually identify with who we really are, which is consciousness itself. And once we do that, we start to raise our level of awareness. And so we start becoming aware of all of the things in our lives that maybe we're reacting. Okay, we start getting, we keep getting these circumstances. We're like, man, why am I getting all these circumstances? Why is everything against me? Why is it, oh, it's all my fault? Oh, it's actually me, because if I was just to sit here in this room all day, nothing bad could really happen to me. So you have to understand, oh, it's actually my reaction to the world around me. Okay, so very interesting stuff right there. Then as we go from there, we start to realize, oh, actually my awareness is so much so not my body that I can actually put my body to sleep and still remain aware. Not only that, but I can shift my awareness and the focus of my awareness, and I can even influence it through color. Okay, so then we start getting into color, and we start going through the rainbow, and then we keep going, and now we're all of a sudden we're like in like the second wave. Okay, so we're in the second wave, and we even go to color so much, and then relate ourselves with the color, so our bodies with the colors, or at least what we think is ourselves, right? So then all of a sudden we got the living body map, and that's the last tape of the second wave there. But now we're into a little bit of a different realm. Okay, now with the third wave called freedom, and we've got this tape here, and it's called the liftoff tape, and it's a little bit different. Okay, it incorporates all of the aspects of creation, but it's much more about the identification. Now we're no longer really identifying with our body, with our thoughts, with our feelings, even though we need these three to be aligned in order to create whatever kind. Where the creator comes in. That's where we're here on this earth. But we can always change all three of those things. We need them to be aligned, but we can always change them. And so being aware of these three things and being on top of them, okay, really associating yourself outside of these three things, your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions, by relating yourself and understanding that you're outside of those things, that's what this liftoff tape is all about. It's identifying. It's identifying and hovering. Okay, it's like hovering above your thoughts, hovering above your feelings, hovering above your actions and your relationships and how the consequences to those actions in the past, hovering above all of the things and understanding who and what you really are. That you have full freedom of how you show up, what you do after you show up, how you react, and then also where you go in time and space. Okay, so I think that that's really the best way to describe this liftoff tape from the very beginning in a very rudimentary form. That might not make sense to everybody, to all of you watching, but I think it's something that if you ever get to that point where you can, I think maybe people have experienced this before, and I've experienced this before as well, where I'm going through my life and I can start making predictions because I've gone through the same day over and over and over again. I wake up at the same time, I interact with the same people, and we build those strong relationships, and sometimes the weather will change, sometimes, but most of the time there is like a routine in place, and because of that routine, now I can start to predict what's going to happen, what I'm going to do on this date, what am I going to do on this date. It's a very similar thing. Okay, the only problem is that I've found myself in a situation where I actually self-sabotage myself. It's almost like things are too peaceful. It's like, hey, if I keep going this way, I'm going to end up at this destination, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that's too boring. Like, anybody else ever been there? Like, oh wait, does that mean all my dreams are going to come true, but with no adversity? Wait, and then isn't that like too boring? So then all of a sudden I start getting more, we start getting more excited about certain different things. We start getting curious. We start getting, these types of things. And so I don't know if that's just me, but the cool thing about it is that when we're hovering above all those things, we can even become aware of that, even become aware of that self-sabotage and say, hey, no, look, I don't want that to happen. I don't need this other feeling. I don't need to have things being excited or whatever else. I'm actually excited right now, and I'm actually excited about the future. And that there's no guarantee that that future is going to come. So all I can really worry about is being present right now. And I think that's what the ego does. The ego sees patterns and it starts to make conclusions, and it's not necessarily always true. So it's like a combination of things. It's all about being present and also seeing the bigger picture at the same time. I think that's what this liftoff tape is really all about, and I think that really sums it up in the best way possible. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't travel through to certain places and certain things, and focus on certain things. You can, but I think that for the most part, for me, this tape has been all encompassing. So I'm looking forward to the next one. And until next time, if you guys want to communicate with me, let me know in the comments down below. And I will see you guys soon. Peace.